We have another example of how trashy the mainstream media is in this country. This is about Boris Johnson and Donald Trump having dinner and Sky News getting way too excited about it. You would think that the role of the media and that broadcast journalism and press journalism and everything else is to dig in and find stories about potential scandals and corruptions and bad governance and bad policies, hold politicians to account and governments to make sure we know exactly what they're up to, but in regards to implementation of their ideas on a daily basis. No. When it comes to the British mainstream media, especially broadcast media, not necessarily just print media, all they care about is their everyday normal gossip that doesn't actually affect the overall governance or stability of the country, but they're loving it. So, Boris Johnson and Donald Trump, as friends, they got together, they met, they had dinner, and they had talked about a lot of issues because they're friends and they're former leaders. There's nothing wrong with it. They do that. Now, if Sky News were interested, this is about Sky News, if Sky News were interested in regards to what is happening with the British government or American government or anything like that, then fine. Focus on that. This is about Sky News chasing Boris Johnson around the airport to ask him about lockdown. And it just makes no sense. I'm just going to show you a few seconds of this. I think it's about a minute. I have a big issue with whether it's established journalists or independent journalists, I don't care who they are, reporters, when they chase around someone, like a politician or some sort of figure, or Chris Whitty, or Matt Hancock, I don't care who it is, they chase them around, they ask some questions, right? It's virtue signaling, it's internal virtue signaling, because they make themselves feel better, and they post it online saying, I held this person to account. No, they didn't do anything. If you go around, ask questions, and that politician, for example, is walking away, not answering the questions, you do it for a few seconds, you try 2, 3 times, 4 times, okay? Then you stop, because now you're just harassing him, you're just stalking him. And it's just not effective. I don't really care about if that person gets offended. I have a problem with the fact that you're just wasting your time. That person is not going to answer the question. You're just simply doing it for the views. You're going around saying, answer the question, and then you get provocative and everything else. And then you post a 5-minute video online with you chasing some sort of leader or politician or whatever, senior figure, around saying, oh, we held power to account. You didn't do anything. You wasted everyone's time and you didn't really get any answer that you wanted. This is what Sky News did with Boris Johnson. Watch this.
Mr. Johnson, do these lockdown claims finish your political career?
Okay. First question.
So you're being paid a lot of money on a speaking engagement in the United States.
You to stand back,
People in the UK might want to hear you speak on a matter that matters to them.
He's not answering the question.
So I'm going to ask you to please stand back, please,
I'm a BA customer,
ask you
sir.
to please stop by. I'm going to ask
So the first question is fair enough, right? He wants to find out, and Boris is not answering. What do you do after this? You try and be like, okay, can I please get an answer, or can we sit down at some point, right? What you don't do is you keep getting provocative in regards to your next questions.
I'm a BA customer.
Wait for it.
Mr. Johnson, will you be further embarrassed by your WhatsApp messages during lockdown?
What's the point of that
Will
question?
they further impugn your integrity, sir?
If you think he's now going to answer your question.
What did your constituents have to gain from your meeting with Donald Trump?
This is just stupid journalism. It's so bad, embarrassing.
Mr. Johnson, you have form in terms of breaking the law on COVID. Have you broken it again?
No, and I've been here to talk about Ukraine. That's what I've been doing. And
why wouldn't you talk about COVID?
But why would he? Leave him alone.
You're accused of breaking the law at Checkers and at Downing Street, did you?
What you need to do with people like Boris Johnson, he has to answer serious questions, right? When it comes to lockdown policies and everything else, because I spend all the time criticizing him, is you need to do a proper investigation. You need to get some questions in. You need to get some a real inquiry sorted out. You can't really ask him at the airport. He's not going to give you the answer you want. That's my problem. It's just not an effective tactic.
no, but look.
If it's proved that you did, are you finished as a politician?
What's the point of that question?
The answer is that, as I said before, there was absolutely no rule breaking, and
What proof do you have of that?
You don't know what to say.
those who want to make allegations should make allegations, and so far nobody has. And you want my honest view, I think this whole thing is completely nonsensical. And look, I've got to check in for a flight now. This whole thing is a load of absolute nonsense.
I mean, that's fair enough. Those who are making the allegations, they are the ones who need to prove it. That idiot, the Sky News guy, was like, how can you prove that you haven't broken the law? You can't prove a negative. Those who are making the accusations, they're the ones who have to prove that he's broken the law. Why am I defending Boris? Now I'm going to get comments again saying, oh, Mahyar Tousi is a Tory supporting Boris. I'm like, no, I'm not. Just being rational. Everybody needs to calm down. And there are no Illuminati lizards from Mars coming over today. Maybe next week. Okay? Everybody calm down. All right. Let's take a break. Come back in half an hour or an hour. We got some updates about, speaking of Illuminati, George Osborne. He's got some ideas. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.